Good morning, dear students. In the last class, we have learned about the first level of chromatin organization, chromatin folding. Right. One more point we need to understand that at what point of cell cycle this chromatin organization or compaction starts. That only starts after that chromatin finishes transcription and replication stages in the S phase. Okay, that thing we need to understand. Then after that, it undergoes first level of organization, that is the nucleosome level that we have learned in the last class. In this class, today's section, we are moving to higher levels of chromatic organization. In this picture, we can see the nucleosome pattern of organization of the chromatin. As the chromatin is compacted or folded in the form of nucleosome, then its width is 11 nanometer if we view it from dorsal side. Its width become 11 nanometer. Again it undergoes another way of organization or compaction and enters the next level of chromatin organization, that is 30 nanometer fiber. 11 nanometer fiber. After that level of compaction, it becomes 30 nanometer fiber. And how that compaction happening? For explaining that, two models are proposed. They are solenoid model and zigzag model. Which are they? They are solenoid model and zigzag model. First, I am going to explain the solenoid model. This is the picture of solenoid model. I will explain you. Suppose if we uh, in nucleosome model that chromatin is organized in this way, nucleosome. Just assume that it is in the form of a chain. Again, take the case of a neck chain. We are holding our chain like this. Sorry, chain like this. Okay. Chain like this here, we are using our hand, and suddenly we drop this. How it fell down? It fell down like sometimes it fell down like this way. Understand? In that way, again this nucleosome type of organization undergoes a coiling that we can see here. Look, this is different nucleosome units, and in this picture we can see the linker DNA also. What this linker DNA is doing in this level of compaction? It bends, it gently curves to facilitate this type of coil. This linker DNA curves to touch with the adjacent nucleosome. Bends and touches with the adjacent nucleosome. Again the linker DNA, again here it is bending and adjacent nucleosome comes more closer. In that way it is coiling. That extended nucleosome organization is coiling in this way. And that H1 histone octamer all comes in the center of that coil. In this picture, we can see the end of the first coil, and it comes out and form another coil below to the first one. I will show here. Suppose this is the first coil. It composes of so many nucleosome units, and its end comes like this and form another coil and form another coil and form another coil. In this way it goes on. And also it forms a stalk, and in this stalk the nucleosome in the first coil comes in the same level as of the nucleosome in the next coil. Okay, it is an orderly stacked coiling arrangement. And what would be its width? If we look this chromatin organization from dorsally, this is I. If we are observing dorsally, what would be its width? That is 30 nanometer. Okay, so this 11 nanometer again coil to form a 30 nanometer fiber now. Okay, and it is an orderly stacked coiling. The nucleosome in first layer, first coil is fixed perfectly over the nucleosome in the next level. Orderly packing. Packing. Okay. Then in each coil we can see about 6 to 8 nucleosomes. In this picture we can see 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. That is a solenoid model. Okay, I think it is clear to you. Next, another model also proposed for the same level of chromatin compaction, that is zigzag model. Zigzag model is this one. It is also forming in the same way as such of solenoid model. Solenoid model. The only difference is that stacking is not regular. That means in the other model, solenoid model, all the nucleosomes in all coils, suppose this is first coil, the other coils nucleosome also come in the same position. It is stocked perfectly, regular, in an ordered way. But in the case of zigzag, the nucleosome of the coil that lies below, it doesn't come just beneath the first nucleosome. It may comes somewhere here. Okay, I will draw here more clearly. Suppose this will be the nucleosome of the first coil, and then again coiling, and here the second coil's nucleosome come in this level instead of coming here in a zigzag manner. That is a zigzag model proposed for the organization to form 30 nanometer fiber. Okay, I think it's clear. Next, so I hope that you understand how the 11 nanometer chromatin fiber compacted to form a 30 nanometer fiber through these two. Either any of the three ways it can become a 30 nanometer fiber now. Then again that 30 nanometer fiber undergoes folding to form a 300 nanometer width fiber. I will show here. This is the picture of that one. 300 nanometer packing. What is happening there? Uh, that solenoid or zigzag way of packing, it undergoes looping. It forms looping, and how where it finds a support for forming such loops. It takes support over a scaffold. Scaffold means simply it is a skeletal framework. If we take the case of umbrella, it's iron rods and it's holding rod, that all is scaffold. Similar to that, here also some proteins assemble together to form a backbone to organize this chromatin again to form certain loops. And by that way, again its width get increased. And how much it increased? From 30 nanometer width, it again become 300 nanometer. I will take it here once more. Some proteins assembled and form a backbone, a skeletal framework, and over that framework, with by taking advantage of that framework, that 30 nanometer fiber. Suppose this is the 30 nanometer fiber. It undergoes further looping. Loops means this much. Looping over that chromosome scaffold and increases the width. Now its width will become 300 nanometer. Okay, clear? That is the next level. Then coming back, uh, after reaching the 300 nanometer packing, then the chromatin moves to next higher level of packing, that is 750 nanometer packing. How that 750 nanometer packing is happening is very easy. This 300 nanometer fiber again undergoes coiling or folding to form a 750 nanometer with a more thick fiber. And after this much folding everything, it gained that appearance of a metaphase chromosome. It's very compacted. It's not an extended form. Okay, these are the different levels of organization of the chromatin. I think it's very clear to you. This is the chromatin level, nucleosome level. Again, 300 nanometer fiber. It undergoes coiling, looping, and forms 300 nanometer. It again undergoes further folding to form a 700 nanometer, and finally it enters the appearance. It gains the appearance of a metaphase chromosome, highly condensed compacted metaphase chromosome. It looks exactly like this. Okay, clear? And next is about the condensation and coiling. Here it is mentioning the extent of condensation of the chromatin. How much condensation is happening to the chromatin. We know that the nucleus is somewhat 10 micrometer in diameter, and DNA that is 2 lakh times lengthier than that diameter, it undergoes that much extent of condensation to incorporating into that small nucleus. That is just mentioning under this point. Next, we are moving to structure of metaphase chromosome. You notice that now the term chromatin is changed to chromosome. Uh, what is the difference between chromatin and chromosome? Chromatin is that extended form, and chromosome is when the chromatin attains full condensation, then it becomes chromosome. Okay, and one more point. Um, when this chromatin, till what time the chromatin remains in the extended form? Till it finish the DNA transcription and replication. And after that, it starts its condensation through various stages till it reach a width of 750 nanometer. And on reaching that stage, then it means that it is going to the next phase, that is the M phase. M phase, it can be a mitosis or meiosis. And now we are going to understand more about a chromosome that is completed its condensation, that is metaphase chromosome, highly compacted. And the term chromosome is suggested by W. Walter. Let's have a look over that metaphase chromosome. What are its features? It has two arms. Two arms are present, and the two arms are held together by a central point called centromere. And as we have learned that or understand that, as it finished the replication, now the metaphase chromosome is carrying two chromatids. So they are called sister chromatids. As it finished the round of replication, DNA replication round, that is why now it exists, or now it is having two chromatids, and that chromatids are called sister chromatids. So we can see sister chromatids in chromosome stage, and each chromatid, this one is one chromatid, each chromatid contain a DNA, and the DNA is transcriptionally inactive. Why it is transcriptionally inactive? Because we learned that, we understand that as the chromatin become condensed to form chromosome, it is in a highly condensed compacted stage, and that DNA is not at all available or extended uh, to carry on transcription. So in that way, the metaphase, the DNA that is present in the metaphase chromosome is inactive, transcriptionally inactive. Okay, again I am pointing one by one. What are the features of metaphase chromosome? It carries two arms held together by centromere. Since it completes its replication, DNA replication, it is carrying two chromatids, and these two chromatids are called sister chromatids. This is one sister chromatid and this one is another sister chromatid. Then we are going to learn more about centromere and kinetochore. Centromere. This is a button-like constricted region that is holding two sister chromatids together. Okay, uh, this is the centromere. Centromere is a small button-like coil that is holding two sister chromatids. Then, what is the significance of this centromere? Because of the presence of centromere, it is possible for a cell to correctly divide the chromosome to its daughter cell. Clear? Since the centromere is present here, that's why as a parent cell divide and form to daughter cell, it can very correctly share the chromosome content among the two daughter cells without any mistake. That is one significance of centromere. Help in the correct chromosome distribution. Next significance is that it provides a space for the attachment of spindle. What is spindle? Do you know? What is spindle? Spindles are certain fiber-like structures that is helping in the correct distribution, correct movement of movement of chromosome during the various stages of mitosis. These are spindle fibers. These spindle fibers come and bind this centromere and then drag the sister chromatids to each pole, and that movement is very essential. That process is very essential for the equal distribution of chromosome among the daughter cell. So for that purpose, as the spindle grows and approaches the chromosome, the centromere provide a space for the attachment of the spindle. Then what is satellite DNA? Satellite DNA, they are repeated DNA sequence. In DNA, DNA is formed of nucleotide subunits. Okay, and satellite DNA are those portion of DNA that is containing so many repeated sequence. For example, um, where uh, A U T, then C, such a sequence is there, then again it is repeating, in this way a particular sequence repeats several times. Such portions in the DNA is called satellite DNA. And uh, each repeat can be about 170 base pair long, and so many repeats are present in the satellite DNA, and one such repeat can be 170 base pair long. Okay, that is satellite DNA. Simply, what is satellite DNA? Satellite DNA are highly repeated sequence of DNA that's important, at centromere. In the centromere portion, several repeated sequences are present, and that repeated sequence are called satellite DNA. Next is kinetochore. Kinetochores are certain proteinaceous plate-like structure that can be seen outside the centromere. Okay. Then what is the significance of kinetochore? It gives attachment for the microtubules. Microtubules, I already explained to you about the spindles. What is its role in moving the chromosome during various stages of mitosis. For giving the attachment for those microtubules, which is giving the site for attachment, that kinetochore. That microtubules come and bind to this kinetochore. That is one significance. And also this kinetochore acts as a molecular motor. Molecular motor means during different stages of mitosis, the chromosome need to move along with the help of microtubules. For the movement of that chromosome, which is giving energy, which is driving that movement, this kinetochore is giving or helping that movement during the mitosis. So it acts as a molecular motor, helping in chromosome movement. Then coming to the structure of kinetochore. According to a recent model proposed, the kinetochore is having an outer and inner electron dense plate. This is the outer plate, this is the inner plate. And this outer plate contains so many fibrous materials. Outer plate we can see so many fibrous materials, and it also provide an attachment site for motor proteins, that is helping in chromosome movement during mitosis, different stages of mitosis. And in that way we can tell that the outer plate of kinetochore is highly dynamic. Dynamics means always moving, it is not static. Okay, then we need to understand another two terms. What is monocentric and dicentric chromosome? Mono means single. Monocentric means only one centromere is present in a chromosome. Then that type of chromosome is called a monocentric. If a chromosome have two centromere, then it is called a dicentric chromosome. Then we are going to understand about telomere. What is telomere? Telomere is the DNA sequences seen at the ends of the eukaryotic chromosome. Why we are specific as eukaryotic? Because in the case of prokaryote, most of the cases the chromosome exists in circular pattern. So there is we can't demarcate its end. So in that way, in a generalized way, it is considered as telomeres are absent in prokaryotes. But in the case of eukaryotes, as the chromosome have this type of appearance, it has ends, and that the DNA sequence that is position that is seen at the end of the chromosome is called telomere. Okay, that is telomere. Next, what is its features? It gives stability for the chromosome. This telomere gives stability. Um, in what way it gives stability, I will explain you later. And also it helps in replication. Telomere helps the DNA replication very much. That also I will explain. These telomeric sequences are highly heterochromatic. What is heterochromatic? That I already told you. What is heterochromatic? They are highly condensed regions of chromosome. Okay. Then, and also this telomere contain many repeated sequence of this sequence TTAGGG. This sequence repeated so many times in the telomere portion. These are some features. Then what is telomerase? Telomerase is the enzyme that is maintaining the telomere sequence generation after generation. After understanding the role of telomerase, then the role of telomere sequence in stabilizing the chromosome and its role in replication will become more clear to you. That's what I am going to explain now. DNA, we know that it is double-stranded and anti-parallel. Anti-parallel means one strand is 5' to 3 dash, then the other will be 3 dash to 5 dash. Then what is DNA replication? Replication means in generation of daughter DNA strand. I'm just going to draw the result of one round of DNA replication. First I'm going to draw this strand 5 dash to 3 dash, this parent strand, and corresponding to that strand a daughter strand is forming, and this strand 3 dash to 5 dash, and corresponding to that a daughter strand is formed. These are the two daughter DNA formed after first round of DNA replication. And I am going to explain the role of telomerase by considering this daughter DNA strand. Okay. Mm, First, I need to start how the DNA replication initiating. First, I am going to redraw that parent strand 5 dash to 3 dash. Yeah, DNA replication always proceeds from 5 dash to 3 dash direction. And for initiating the replication, it needs a foundation that's called a primer strand. And that strand is adding by the enzyme DNA primase. DNA primase add this primer strand, and, in connection, a continuation of this primer strand, further nucleotides are adding and the new daughter strand is forming. When the replication is finished, then this daughter, this primer strand is removing. Okay, this is the basic simple process of DNA replication. I'm going to redraw this picture again here. Then only I can explain the role of telomerase. This is that parent strand 5 dash 3 dash, and this is the newly formed daughter strand. What you notice here, this strand is shorter when compared to this parent strand. Why? Because the removal of that primer strand makes this strand shorter. And which portion is lost in this daughter strand? The portion that is corresponding to the telomere sequence is lost here. Now it is not a problem because telomere sequence means it is a simple repeating sequence and it doesn't have any coding gene. So this time it is not a problem. But if the process continues in different rounds of DNA replication, there is chance to lose the coding gene part. So to avoid this shortening, for that purpose came the telomerase enzyme. Telomerase enzyme help to regenerate the short portion. How? That's what I am going to explain. First, we need to understand the telomerase enzyme. Telomerase enzyme is an enzyme. It contains an RNA with it, and this RNA has sequence complementary to the telomere sequence. Okay, next what is going to happen that I am going to draw and explain you. For that, I am going to take another ink color. Okay, that enzyme, telomerase enzyme with its RNA come and bind this long strand, long parent strand here. This is the RNA that present in the telomerase enzyme, and it start to extend this long strand further by adding the nucleotide complementary to this RNA, and in that way it extends. After extending this long strand, then came the role of another enzyme, that is the DNA primase. For that I am taking another color, DNA primase. Primase. It add a primer strand against this extended longer strand by the telomerase. And after this, adding this primer strand, then came another enzyme. Need to take another color. That is DNA polymerase. DNA polymerase. What it is doing? It add nucleotide in connection with this primer strand and regenerate the lost portion of the daughter strand. In that way, it regenerates. That's the role of telomerase enzyme. Okay, then what is the significance of telomere in stabilizing the length of chromosome? As telomere is here and its sequence is complementary to the RNA present in the telomerase. That is why it is possible to regenerate the lost portion in the daughter strand. Okay, then I hope that what is the role of telomerase, what is telomerase, everything is clear to you. Okay. Again, I am going to generalize the functions of telomere. First, it has DNA replication. How it helping that I already explained to you. And how the next function, it protects the chromosome from nuclease activity. Nucleases are certain enzymes that is cleaving the nucleic acids. There are two types, ribonucleases and deoxyribonucleases. By acting as a cap at the tip of the chromatid, it protects the chromosome from the nuclease activity. And the last function, by staying at the tips of the chromosome, it prevents the chromatids from fusing with the other chromatids. Okay, with this, we can finish today's section. In the next class, we can start with the classification of eukaryotic chromosomes. Thank you.
I'm an icon, man. And my girl about a 10. I should fuck her